here we are, Monday.
Monday again.
And everything works.
We hope.
Nah, I know. I checked all. I added that to my checklist.
Somebody calling already?
I know. Yeah, he did. Hey, we're Power and Speed, 908-751-0211. If you knuckleheads want to call in today, be a good day.
Yeah, it would be a real good day, actually.
We can actually answer.
Yep.
And don't forget, like us Facebook, iTunes, and share us. Share.
Yeah, share the episode that you guys like. If there was one that caught your interest in particular, get that one out to other people so they can check it out. So
we had a lot of new people this week.
Did we?
Yeah, a lot of new likes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I saw some messages.
I was on the Facebook thing about 8 seconds all week. Sometimes some shit would pop across. I've been super busy with some accounting nightmares I got to unravel.
Yeah.
I'll be busy with that for probably the next 2 weeks. And, it's funny. Like somebody sent me a Facebook message and said, "Where you been?" Look, when you guys don't hear from me, that means I'm buried. If I can't take 3 seconds to open Facebook, it's how things go. And then today, well, you and I, Tom, both got something weird going on.
Yeah.
You're selling a house.
Well, yeah, I'm selling a house that a 70-foot tree fell on last weekend. So that's
I know it's not funny.
I know.
Can't help
4 days before my inspection.
Yeah, the home inspector's coming and a tree falls on your house.
Yeah, legit.
Can't make that shit
No,
up.
you can't. And yeah, you're in a real estate deal too now, right?
Well, yeah, I was. I've talked about it. I personally would like to get out of New Jersey, like tomorrow. I think my mom would like to get out of New Jersey. I don't think Brian wants to, my brother. Since he doesn't want to go, Mom probably doesn't really want to go. And I guess I could go, but kind of a dick move.
A little bit.
Because I don't know if I'd rely on my brother to take care of Mom. So, getting older, she's got a 2-story house.
Yep.
Laundry room's downstairs, bedrooms are upstairs. So I go over there like every couple of days, bring laundry up, do things she needs.
Yep.
Take care of the pool.
My grandmother was like that. Laundry room was dead. She was freaking 90 years old and still going up and down the stairs.
Well, look, it was either one of those advertised on TV chair lifts, an elevator, or we find something for her. And, the whole reason for the pool was to hopefully sell the house.
Yep.
At some point and get decent money. Because, if the pool was shot, somebody's going to come in. Yeah, they're going to be like, well, you got to take off 90 grand because the pool's bad.
Yep. So
it had to be done. So you put all this together. I think staying here is in my future for at least a little bit. So I happen to see a house. Like, I can't imagine it on the street. It's a half a mile from here. And I can't imagine that
through your backyard.
Through my backyard, it's probably about
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, maybe 800. And it was for sale. It's a home run. My brother called and they said it's an estate sale. It's got to go like now. Got to have the bid in tonight by 6 o'clock.
Yep.
I found that out today at noon. So it's been a crazy little bit for me. Now, as far as the show goes, last week we had a phone system failure, figured it out. Unfortunately,
after the fact.
Yep. Sonic Wall firmware update kind of hosed up this particular phone system. Didn't bother the ones at work, but bothered it here. Fixed.
That sucked.
Yeah. So we didn't do Tony. We didn't talk to Tony.
Right.
On Monday. Tony couldn't do this Monday.
Right.
And it worked out just as well because you can't stay here because of the house thing.
Right.
So you've got to get out of here tonight, kind of like sort of promptly.
Yeah, like at 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tony is going to be at some point.
Yeah, next week.
Now you're going on vacation.
Yep.
On Monday. So we're probably going to do this on an off day.
Probably. Looks like.
Right.
I mean, should I say? I mean, it
you
looks
could.
Like, yeah,
we're trying to work
Sunday now.
Yeah.
So we're going to do Sunday night at some point. I don't know what time yet. Could be same time as now. Could be 7 to 8. Could be 6 to 7. We'll see.
Okay.
So it'd be nice to have listeners. So you guys, whoever's out there wants to come on, and
Well, remember, even testing on a weekend, we got a freaking following that.
Yeah. Why not?
Hang on a minute.
Oh my God!
All right, now we got on Retard Highway.
Yeah.
Rich Mogul, what's up?
What? What do you want?
Oh Jesus Christ! You're so fucking cranky. No, since you guys don't have a guest this week, and
you figured it'd be you? Oh God, you tool!
I think that there's a topic that me and a couple other guys it was either last week or a few weeks ago. It was about piston speed, And then the guest came on, and then that subject kind of got, obviously it got brushed by the wayside.
All right.
I think that should be the fucking topic for today, because you were getting into the topic, and it was like,
yeah, but you know what?
Getting
Here's the problem. Hold up. Yeah, because I think we were talking to who were you talking to?
I don't know, but the first problem is, well, never mind. I'm not going to be a total dick.
The for us to talk about piston speed, it would be our theories. I mean, I don't think neither Tom nor I have the engineering background, and neither do you, Alan. So don't even bother calling.
Yeah.
I don't
Swing
even.
set.
I don't think that. I mean, I think we would be giving theories. I mean, from the piston speed perspective and the dwell time and everything else, I'd like to hear from someone with a really solid engineering background.
Sure.
We could talk about that. Like you had talked about the nitrous guys.
Yep.
That the nitrous guys wanted to see something in particular.
Yep.
And, Billy had talked about frictional losses, and there's a lot of stuff here. So, but I mean, for us, it would be more opinion than fact. And I don't know that
Probably
that's
solid opinion, but still opinion.
solid opinion, but still opinion. And Lord knows you guys would like to fuck with me if I was wrong. Be like, oh, see?
Yeah. I know. They'd be Googling right now.
Sorry, Rich. You're fucking up my whole spiel. I got a whole bunch of shit I wanted to cover. So I hope you're proud of yourself.
Jesus Christ.
It ain't his fault either.
So, yeah, but we know that's a topic we want to talk about, and we have somebody kind of in mind for that. So it is coming.
All right, I figured, there's a guy that sells pistons sitting in there in that room. That would probably be a good guy to talk to, but
Yeah, who?
Yeah, but it's still it depends on the questions that you're asking, and it depends what you want to know. And just because we make pistons doesn't mean that we even think about the theories that engine builders do.
Yeah, all you need to do is make sure that when the piston goes to the top and goes to the bottom, it remains connected and doesn't break in half.
That's right. Right. It's got to stay,
does it again
stay
and
in
again
one
and
piece,
again.
and it does it a long time.
Yeah.
I understand that, and I know a lot of it goes into like cylinder head flow and a lot of other stuff.
It does, and a lot of it goes to follow the leader too. I mean, for years people think one thing, and nobody knows why it's that way. But our opinion might be different, and then you start an internet war. It's kind of like those people. I think Cathedral Port heads are good.
No, come on, dude.
God,
Can't we
that's
just
going to
let
go
that
another
go?
couple weeks.
God, not again.
Anyway,
All right, so Rich, I appreciate you calling, and actually, you gave us a good phone system test, so we know everything works.
Yeah, well,
All right, buddy.
we'll get a guy in that we can talk to about that. That we'll talk about the engineering side of it.
And that's what we need. I want if whenever possible. I think we're usually pretty good at telling you this is our opinion, that it's not that this is the way we think it is. But that's why it's great to have somebody like Billy or somebody on that can give you, hey, look, this is an opinion. This is fact. This is what you need to know.
Yeah.
Those are the people we'd like. I mean, while we can talk about it and they could be like, hey, well, I always thought it was like this. Perfect example, Banish with the fuel injection thing.
Mm-hmm.
Up until the day that I talked to him, I thought that the reason that those engines could tolerate more compression is because you could control any kind of pre-ignition when you put the fuel in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was entirely for cooling. That was amazing to learn to me.
Yep,
And, basically lit up the light bulb again. Say, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, because it
So-
does both.
We'll get good guys, Rich. We promise. We'll do it.
all right.
All right. See you, buddy. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for
I
calling.
didn't.
Yeah, really. Wow.
You did it without even thinking about it.
I probably should go back to that one and get Crunch laughing and get the thanks for calling.
yeah. Should.
Okay. So that was what I had going on with the house. That's what you have going on with the house. That's what's planned for the show. So hopefully Sunday night we'll be back. We'll get Tony, and I think there'll be a lot of good conversation there.
There will.
Tad,
Mike?
you have a Subaru update. You were waiting for a couple sensors,
Yeah,
and you're kind of done, right?
Camshaft sensors, then we start to assemble and I have to still do
Well, when
the
you say
rear hubs.
assemble, you mean assemble the car.
Well, assemble the car, the long blocks together.
Yeah.
Put the injectors when they arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the injectors you can go in after the engine's in,
Anytime.
so no
Yeah,
big
you
deal.
know what I mean? I'm not trying to hate on anybody doing this stuff, but if it was like if they didn't have the injectors, I didn't want them to say, well, we're not going to work on that today because we can only go so far because we don't have injectors. Let's work on this instead. If everything is sitting there and they look at it and say, hey, we can knock this out and get it done, you're probably a little more inclined to get it finished.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I was saying. So, okay.
Oh, and when I was over there last week, I didn't think that the tires were as dry rotted they are. Jesus Christ, it looks like they're like 50 years old on that thing.
Well, I know that
I thought you were buying new tires.
I have another set of tires, and I have another set of rims and tires too to go on it.
I know your mental timeline is a little scrambled, but I mean, how long has it been since you drove that car? I mean, because you took it, we got it out of here. We brought it here when it was full of mold. I can't.
Yeah, but the tires are still holding there. I mean, the sidewalls are gone. They're just freaking threads now.
Well, holding hair and running on dyno are two different
Yeah,
things.
well, that's why I got new tires for those rims, and then I got another set of tires and rims. So,
All right. So, but the bottom line is you are very close.
yes.
Okay.
Well, like they were saying, the whole who's going to be first, I was looking like I was going to be the first running, which
Oh, yeah.
I'm not racing, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
Just to add to my stress level, do we want to talk about the drag week car?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to.
Now, this is where I'm going to sound like a little bit of a dick. I know that's shocking
That's
to
unusual.
the average listener.
not like the phone call before, but
Yeah, little shocking. Let's be fair here. There's a lot of times that you don't pick up the phone for me because you know that I'm going to be on you about parts or I want to talk about the drag week car or anything.
Yep.
I have been on this
Yep.
like white on rice from the beginning,
You have.
talking about everything.
Well, we have.
Yeah, and Tom has
Yep.
too. You
We-
know, to get parts and get
Yep.
the things that he could get done and everything done. Is there anything more I could have done, paid for, facilitated,
No.
anything
No.
to get it? And okay.
Nope.
So with all that being said, and apparently this is a term that's used.
Are you going to say that?
Yes. the term that is used is the car is in chassis shop jail.
Yeah.
Because that's apparently a thing. And I think it goes hand in hand with body shop jail.
Yeah.
It probably goes hand in hand with interior jail.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of what happens. Now, look, I want to tell everybody that I, for me personally, shoulder a lot of this responsibility. And here's why. In what I do now, projects have timelines, milestones, penalties. You know, it is a very well-structured business dealing when you're dealing with some of the companies that I deal with. There's kind of no time for bullshit. You can't play those games. What I should have done is when this project officially got started, I should have done this in a timeline fashion to make sure that when we fell off schedule, that I could have, put the boot on somebody's neck and said, look, this has got to get done or we need to go another direction. But the unfortunate thing is I did not. So one of the things that I could certainly take responsibility for was project management because it's fucked up. I told Tom exactly this. I went from doing complex business dealings overseas and reverted right back to the retard building his car.
Yep.
And just forgot about everything I had learned over the years.
Oh, we kind of did.
Well, I mean, look,
I'm glad we're blaming you.
that's fine. You can blame me. And I don't want people to give Tim a hard time because, I said this before and I said it to a couple friends of mine that I talked to. If I knew we weren't going to get the car done, that there was just no way this was going to get finished on his side, he still would have been the guy that I would have had do the car.
Sure.
It wouldn't have changed where it was going because I'm familiar with his work and I like what he's done. And I know that he cares about what he does. The only thing I think I could ask for is a better estimate. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, just a yes or a no. I don't like, yeah. It's no sweat, no problem until it comes down to
Being a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But again, his craftsmanship, I'm never going to say a word about that. I think he's fantastic. And like I said,
He is. He does.
he would be the guy for me no matter what.
Well, he still is. I mean, it sucks.
Now, we do have an alternate plan. You've said that in
Yep.
past shows.
Yep.
That plan is being implemented as we speak. And hopefully it all comes together in a way that's beneficial
We're
for
hoping.
everyone.
We're hoping.
And if everything works out that way, yes. And you guys are probably going to be pissed. But
Yeah.
it's what might happen. So, but we don't want to talk about that yet because I don't want to get into anything until we know for sure.
Yeah.
So that's everybody wanted the drag week car stuff. I would have talked more about it, but the main thing that I want everybody to take away from this is I don't want anybody thinking any differently of Tim over this. I don't want people thinking that there's, a reason now that you should blame Tim for this. Look, I know how this stuff goes. It's not Tim's fault. He overestimated his ability to get something done. And look, in business, it's what happens.
Yep.
Especially these businesses. So I'm not, again, don't fault Tim for this. Actually, I'd like to blame Alan somehow.
We probably can.
I don't think I could fit him in.
No, we can.
If he was putting up my swimming pool.
Hey, if we got 5 minutes, swimming pool.
Oh,
I was going to say, I was going to bring that up before, but
I didn't mean to do that. Oh, shit.
But you did tell us about it.
Fuck.
is it by the swing set so that you can jump off the swing into the pool or no?
Apparently, Alan put up a pool, and it's he just got it done, and it's August. It's the end of August. They're going to be able to swim for 15 minutes.
Alan, I'm sorry, man. I didn't want to bring that up.
He actually didn't, but that's fine. Hey, I want to. How about I'll steer the conversation.
Okay, you do that.
There's a guy in our chat room named Jack Shit. Do you know him?
No.
So you don't know Jack Shit?
No, I don't know Jack
That's
Shit.
crazy.
I don't know
So Jack,
Shit.
you just got to. I love the name. You just got to shout out, and I had a lame joke, and we deflected away from Alan being a total noob.
Yeah, I don't want to pick on Alan.
Yeah.
He's actually, I think he's in Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Wherever he is, he's failing
So he's
at pools.
all right. Let's talk about EFI Live real quick.
EFI Live.
Yeah, I mean EFI University.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, my brain is.
You had
still-
me off the cue cards, man.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
cue cards. Yeah, we got cue cards.
Hey, we might.
Yeah.
They don't know.
I wanted to talk about this last week, but we got derailed with everything else I was going to talk about at the end of the show. I actually took the 2 EFI University courses, like the starting courses. Like if you went into this kind of knowing nothing.
Yep.
Like if you were just a guy that liked cars and said, I want to do this.
Did they ask you the difference between a flat screwdriver and a star one?
Well, I mean, Ben
It's an ASE test.
Ben wanted me to point out that this is, kind of a more basic course.
Yeah.
I mean, are you going to get done with this and know how to program stuff?
No.
No.
Did I ever tell you about my neighbor wanting to borrow a screwdriver?
No.
It just shows you how inept people are. I'm not going to say which neighbor, just in case they listen, but they don't.
Doubtful from hearing about your neighbors.
It's like, yeah,
Doubtful.
I know. He's like, Tom, you got a screwdriver I could borrow? I'm like, yeah, what kind? He's like, kind? I'm like, yeah, what kind? He's like, the star one?
Oh, God.
All
I've heard
right.
people call them the star, the X. But
All
whatever.
right, dude. Yeah, I got a star one for you.
So,
Who's?
so Ben said that, make sure, what I'm talking about. He doesn't want me to over present it.
Yeah.
To tell people that look, you're going to get done with this and you're going to be able to tune. So here's Mike. I finally wanted to take this thing just because I wanted to see what it was like. First off, the presentation of the videos and everything else.
You said it's fantastic.
I mean, like TV studio quality stuff. Beautiful. The narrators are good. I think Ben is actually on one of them. But the first guy's a British guy or English guy, maybe Australian guy. I don't know. Different to me.
Something.
It was just like presentation wise, it was great. And that kind of fucked me up because it looks so good watching on the iPad.
You're all happy?
Well, I'm all happy. So now I got to figure out, how do I throw this on my TV? Well, now I've got AirPlay and all kinds of shit happening. I'm fucking around. I'm throwing video here. It pops up over there. It disappears. And the whole time the videos are playing in the background.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening.
Of course.
So I get in like
Just like high school.
pretty much. It's kind of exactly the same thing. And I realized that just like in high school, I am a terrible test taker. I have no time. I have no patience.
That's what I heard.
I read 2/3 of the question
Yep.
and
Typical
jump ahead.
typical liberal.
So part of this is certain things they ask you.
Yep.
Were probably things you kind of needed to pay attention to while I was busy throwing shit up on the iPad and trying to make AirPlay work. Like it asked you, and Ben said I could talk about some of these questions. Like they talked about, and I mean, I know this. We had this argument. One of the questions was like, if you have a vehicle with boost and it's a boost reference regulator,
Mhm.
and you make 43 pounds of fuel pressure, and it's a regular boost reference regulator, what do you have for fuel pressure?
Mhm.
You told me your Subaru didn't do that. I said it has to.
Yep.
So I certainly know how that works. I got it wrong because I wasn't paying attention.
Yep.
That one I think I just checked wrong. Then there was another one where they kind of tricked me, where I read the question wrong. it was about like a wasted spark ignition. And what that means, like a motorcycle.
yeah.
And I know what that means.
Yep.
I've had motorcycles. And Tad knows what it means. Everybody knows what it means.
Lawnmowers, all that stuff.
Well, they said the question and it was like wasted spark. How many spark? 2. Well, no, it's not 2 because they were asking you the total of a 4-cylinder. It got that one wrong. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So I went back and, you got to take the test again. You can't just correct the ones you got wrong. So you had to go back and take it. What did I do? Well, now I checked the wrong box in the first one that I already got right. I got the one right that I was supposed to, got the spark one right. Then there was one I got wrong because, again, I didn't read the question. It says, like, where is a crank position sensor found or something? Or where are the places that the positional rotation of the engine or something can be found? And I thought it said can be found. So I said, crankshaft, camshaft. What? I mean, whatever. I picked one of them. Well, no, it was not found. And the answer was throttle body. But in my brain, crankshaft position, okay, just didn't read the question.
You're going to get crucified.
I don't give a shit. If those people think that I think a crank position sensor could be found on a throttle body, well, then don't ever listen again. But
that is what you answered. But
I shall redeem myself.
Okay.
Watch the next videos, which were actually, he said, much more advanced and better. The next videos get into a little bit more of why and the how. And some of this stuff gets into technical terms that a carburetor guy would never know, like Pascal, Kelvin, some things you need to know about how kind of the real absolute numbers and math are done. That foundation is good to have. So the advanced class, 100% first time through, because I actually paid attention to it. But I got to tell you, if I didn't pay attention in the second class, there's stuff I would have got wrong.
Yeah.
So I want to tell everybody, look, if you want to go and completely and take a course and say, I want to go tune and I want to learn this right now, so I'm going to take this course, I don't think this is the one for you. But if you want the proper foundation for everything else you're going to learn and why the computer functions and how it functions, this is a good course. It's worthwhile.
It's the way it should be done.
I think so, because honestly, I did learn things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Specifically, not the functioning principle, but kind of the why. So I thought it was very good. And like I said, what did you do? Oh, you moved your mic?
I did.
Oh, boy.
I didn't leave that flashlight there.
No, I did. Or maybe you'd know. Were you fucking with it before?
Yeah, I might have. I put it right back where it was, though.
Okay.
Next to the grill tongs.
They were in here because I had a piece of corn and cob that I carried.
Oh, God.
Long story.
We do need a camera.
We got a caller.
Yes, we do. But I just want to tell you guys, look, check out the EFI University courses if you're interested in getting the basics. And those basics would be important if you wanted to go further forward. I mean, I can honestly 100% tell you that. If you're already kind of a fuel injection guy, I don't know if you want to get into that. It's not for the guy that's into this enough. It's into a guy that wants to learn the principles, the hows, and the whys to give you foundation. And that's what Ben wanted me to get across too.
Okay.
To make sure.
Good.
So, no, it was good. All right. Here we go. Yo, buddy.
It's Doug.
Hey. How's it going?
Good, man.
Wow. Guy's got a good phone.
Yeah.
That's my phone. I know a lot of people get me on that, but.
So you're the guy that runs the drag week party. Is this correct?
Yeah. Yep. It's an idea we just kind of came up with after going to drag week last year, and Saturday was kind of a bust.
Oh, so you did go last year?
Yeah, we went. We took my brother has a 05 GTO that we ran in the NA class. But, we felt like there's a little bit of a void, and it'd be cool to hang out and meet people in more of a setting where it just doesn't depend on what hotel you're staying at. So.
Okay. Yeah, when we talked before, I was under the assumption that you didn't go. All right, so you know the deal.
No, yeah, we went last year. Yep.
So tell us about the party and what goes on. And
yeah, well, I heard that it's also kind of a charity event, unless I was misinformed. I mean, I think that's the best thing. Yeah, no,
that's pretty cool. So before I talk about the party, we've been in business for 2 years, but we just have had a fundraiser each year. This will be his third year for Operation Homefront, where we get other companies like Pergola and Dan Schoeneck, who makes carbon fiber parts, and a bunch of people donate. They basically match dollar for dollar what we donate all the proceeds of the shirt, and then just do all the work of shipping them and making them on our end. but we're gonna use this as a charity fundraiser to add to that this year. So basically, we're gonna have food trucks and we're gonna have live music going, or not live music, but we're gonna have music playing, just to get together where people can pull up, check out cars, meet, introduce each other, and just kind of hang out. So we're gonna be selling like water and beer and pop, and just using the proceeds to donate to charity. And then obviously we'll be doing like a 50-50 and stuff like that, and just donating whatever we make on it. So
very cool. And I think the party sounds like a great idea to me. I mean, I think we definitely have to hit that.
Sure.
I mean, to get to meet everybody, I think that would be fantastic.
yeah, I just figured it'd kind of be something fun. I mean, everybody gets in on Saturday because everybody's from all over, and it's like, well, we'll do it from, Saturday night, and it's kind of get people together a little bit more. So
Nice. And you're also building a car for this year. Tell us about that. It's supposed to be pretty cool.
yeah, so this will be the first car I've done for Drag Week. I got kind of excited about it last year after my brother did it, and so I bought a 72 Nova, beautiful car. It came from California. It was already racing PSCA out there. It's kind of more of a race car, but we converted it back to a street car, and we were kind of deciding what we wanted to do for our engine plant. I was kind of worn out on the whole LS stuff, which is traditionally what we've always been into. And then we were like, oh, that new Gen 5 Corvette motor would be pretty cool. So
well, let's take a few steps back, because you're not just like a Doug that's going to Drag Week. I mean, you actually own a business. Like, this is something you do.
Yeah.
So why don't we back up a little bit and start, kind of.
Okay.
What brought you into this? Like, how did you fall into the idea of Drag Week and everything else? And tell us a little bit about your business and what you do, so we have the background.
So I own a company called Motion Raceworks, and basically it's a company that we started kind of out of a necessity of our own. We saw so many product gaps in the market with EFI and turbo stuff and all the things we were into. So I had always made parts on my own, to kind of fulfill needs, and people are like, why don't you sell this stuff, man? And I guess I'm like, I never really thought about it. So we started, I made a batch. Our first thing we ever made was a turbo flange with a support bracket built into it, and we sold out instantly. And then, I just started tossing ideas to paper and designing parts and produce them, and then it just kind of expanded. Now we're a huge distributor for like Precision and Holly and Race Pack and Fergola fittings, and it's kind of just taken off, really. So what we originally had started was the LS platform, and we just designed a lot of niche parts, like anything from like vacuum blocks to engine diapers and stuff like that, things that nobody really had a really good solution for on the market. So anyways, back to the Drag Week thing, we were looking for something cool and interesting to do. So this new Gen 5 LT motor came out, and I'm like, oh, I'd like to design some parts for it, and have motion, I need a platform to design them and come up with ideas. So
now, just to let everybody know, the LT version engine you're talking about, this is a direct injected motor, correct?
Yeah, direct injected motor. So our original plan was to just put a stock LT1 or LT4 in the car and see what it would do, but it's kind of gone crazy from there. So AES Racing out of Chicago has built us a pretty nasty little motor for this thing. They wanted to develop an engine program, and we wanted to set the world record for that. So it's a 3D 8 cubic inch. It has billet rods. It's got the stock LT4 forged crank, CP pistons, and then CID cylinder heads that they came out with, and they wanted somebody to put through the ringer. So that's us.
And what ECU do you run with that? Is it going to be factory?
So we know that there's going to be I spent the entire PRI this last winter walking around talking to everybody from like Lingenfelter to Holly and everybody in between, and basically the consensus was, yeah, you're not going to be able to make the power you want to make on direct injection. The injectors aren't there, the fuel pump's not there, and with the fuel pumps on those things, they're cam driven, And
Isn't it like a 3-lobe deal? Like it's a little 3-lobe thing that's like, if I remember looking at the diagrams correctly.
yeah, it's definitely not, doesn't look like your typical cam lobe. And that this pump basically makes like between 2,000 and 2,300 psi of fuel pressure. It uses just a regular style fuel pump to get fuel to it, kind of like a diesel, and then it super pressurizes, I guess, for lack of a better term, that fuel to the direct injectors. And I guess the programs to make better fuel pumps are like multi-million-dollar setups and stuff. So nobody has wanted to invest the money in doing to really develop that market, or they find that it's kind of like a law of diminishing returns, so where they can't do any more with it. So,
Well, I guess if the aftermarket is supplementing with port injection, then it probably kind of knocks the demand back for that.
Yeah. So, and that's basically, we even talked with Jamie Meyer from GM and some other guys, and they're like, it's just the design of it. There's not really a possibility of it doing much more power than the guys that are making, 1,000 to 1,100 at the tires. So we kind of let that lay to rest, and then we have the stock LT4 computer, which will control direct injection, and then we're adding port injection with a Gen 1 MS3 Pro system.
Okay. That's interesting.
So basically that Gen 1 MS3 Pro will have like redundant sensors, so it's just picking up cam and crank off of the engine, TPS off the throttle body, and then it'll have its own IAT and water temp and all that. And it'll just basically run on its own program from there. So,
and I guess that fixes some of the problems that people were talking about with direct injection, like being particularly dirty in the backside and, some of the other stuff, because now you're still getting, fuel introduced from the top. Now, something like that, does it run in tandem all the time, or is there a time that the injectors go from, say, 0 to on? Is it only supplemental, or is it running kind of throughout?
Yeah, so this car is pretty cool, too, because it has some ideas. I think other people have had similar concepts in the past, but I built a custom dual fuel cell that has 2 complete separate fuel systems going forward. One is a 6-gallon race gas, and then the other one's a 16-gallon pump gas. So basically the pump gas one is the direct injection side, controlled by the factory computer. And basically at 1 bar, 0 PSI, it's going to flatline. And then port injection is going to take over and turn on at that point. And then that's just going to cover everything beyond what, 0 PSI is.
All right. So it is going to be used like as a supplemental thing. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Yep. So, and that's just, it's got 2 separate fuel systems. So it'll, kind of for drag week, it's pretty cool because we can not have to be draining fuel tanks and stuff like that. So,
yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. That's another whole aspect of doing all this.
So how much power are you trying to make?
We're trying to put down a little over 1,400 to the tires. Basically, our goal is to be the first 7-second LT car in the world. Everybody's kind of been on Corvettes and Camaros so far, and I think like 840 is the fastest pass anybody's ever made with one. So.
Now, forgive me if you said it and I missed it. I might have, but because I was also reading the chat room that it's what kind of car is this going in?
72 Nova.
Okay.
Yeah, we got tons of pretty cool updates and pictures on, if you go to our Instagram, Motion Raceworks.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll put a link up
or our Facebook. So.
All right. Yeah,
it's a super nice car, really detailed inside and out, and we put a lot of love into it. So I think it's been a pretty big crowd pleaser. We took it to a couple shows already, and it's just been swamped with people around it. So
you should post some pictures on our Facebook page or our fan page, or both fan page.
Yeah, we'll move some over too.
Yeah.
So it is or is not going to make it for this drag week?
No, it is. We are literally going to fire it up in the next hour or two. So.
Oh wow.
And then we're taking it to the dyno tomorrow, and we're going to start trying to make some passes this weekend on it. So.
All right, fantastic.
What dyno are you going to? Can I ask? Is it classified? Did we lose you?
Might have lost him. Hang on. There's somebody calling in. I hope it's not Rich Mogul. Yep, Sam. Yep, you disappeared.
All right. Sorry, I'm back.
No problem. No problem at all. Go ahead, Tom.
I forgot what I was saying.
Dino.
Which dino?
Oh yeah, who's Dino?
A place in Hampton, Illinois, which is actually not far from Cordova, where Drag Week starts, called MVD Dino, Mike Van Dieren Dinos. Kind of a guy, privateer, that just started his own little dyno, and we use it for all of our tuning at Motion. So
Nice. And you do the tuning?
my brother does, actually. He's a engineer by trade, and that's kind of his skill set, and my skill set is fabricating and designing parts. So
Cool.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, look, let's do this. Let's make sure the party gets well plugged.
Yeah.
So everybody ends up there. So we know.
Yeah, give us the dates, times.
Times, everything about it, so nobody can say, "Oh, dude, you didn't ever say."
Is there a
you know?
bikini contest or anything?
Tad entering?
no, but there's gonna be some
Sicko.
kick-ass food trucks there, so that's a plus.
There you go, Tad. Look at that. You got all kinds of shit you can take pictures of.
Food. Nom, 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 nom. All right, go ahead. Plug away. Give us time, location, all the pertinent info.
Okay, so it's September 9th. The party is going to start at 5 o'clock. It's in Davenport, Iowa, which is where I assume most people are going to stay for Drag Week, about 20 minutes from Cordova. And there's not much close to Cordova. We'll go till about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, just see where people are at. And, there'll be food trucks. People can stop by, get food. We'll be selling water, beer, pop. All the proceeds will be going to charity. And, hope to see everybody there.
All right, perfect. Yeah, well, we're that'll be definitely on our go-to list.
Yep,
for sure.
Yep,
get to meet everybody ahead of time. All right, fantastic.
Well, we appreciate you calling, man, and good luck with the car.
Yeah.
Feel free to post it on our sites, and hey, put a startup video on there. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I will. Hopefully in a couple hours we'll get you one.
all right, fantastic.
Very
Thanks
cool.
for taking time out,
Thanks,
man.
guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's actually a pretty cool project.
Yeah, it is. Very cool. 72 Nova. I like that.
Me too.
Too late.
That'll be neat.
Very cool.
And he's getting it done. He's not in prison.
He says pop.
And he
It's
does
a
say
soda.
pop. Yeah,
It's a Midwest thing, isn't it?
I know. It's like it's
Soda pop.
it's a regional thing.
I love a pop.
You want a pop?
Ohio.
Why? What did I do?
I know.
All right.
No, good guy.
Yeah, it was nice. Okay, so well, I mean, I think that's definitely something we should stop by. I mean, for sure.
So what else we got on your list?
On my list, logo.
Oh yeah,
There's actually been official headway.
yeah.
Now,
Actually, I wonder what happened to her. Because we got no. It's all good.
are we in logo jail?
No, we're not. No, she's been good. We just we got to do the final okay. And
Well, did she send something for final okay?
You saw something? I didn't see nothing.
Yeah, I thought you saw it.
When?
No. You saw the last one.
Oh, that we told her
To change
make
the-
these revisions
Yeah.
and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Okay. So was she doing something after that? I believe.
Yeah, and I actually was supposed to talk to her this last week and didn't. I don't know why.
Logo jail.
No. It's all good. We'll get to her. But yeah, we're close. We're very close.
Now, what do we do with this? Do we put it up ahead of time for approval or no?
We're gonna
Or do
have
we just
to.
tell these guys
Well,
tough
fan response or
because the next logo will just be a middle finger that says power and speed. Because I mean, I'm
That's
about
the
to-
one.
We're
That's the
number
one I
one.
like.
hey, we're number one.
It's that's kind of how we ended up with the show name because
Yeah.
we're just like 3, 4, or 5 idiots talking about this. What the fuck are we going to do? And that's
Yeah,
that's
gotta
what
do
we came
something,
up
gotta
with.
Yeah, but we'll just do it. They'll like it. It's
Okay.
pretty. It is pretty good.
Yeah, and it's simple. And for me, I like things that are like minimalistic.
Yep.
I think is what the term she used was. So
Yep.
I think we'll be okay with that. So yes, we are making progress on the logo because I saw that. flag
Well,
across.
listen. Do me a favor.
Yes.
Very, very simple. Tad.
Yeah.
Talk to Mike for 2 minutes. I'm going to email her and I'm going to call her when I'm driving back to my house.
So,
Okay.
Mike, anyway, I was at
You're really going to make me talk to Tad?
Yeah, I know.
we're gonna have fun. So I was at the Greenbrook White Castle this weekend.
Tad, you're not going to
Oh,
sit here and talk to me about food. I have that fucking flashlight.
No, it gets better because guess what was playing on the damn stereo in the place? Taylor Swift. I mean, that place just begged for you to be there. You and Tom. That stupid Mad Love song. All right, I'm through.
I was going to let him sit there.
I know.
Make him as uncomfortable as possible
We
for
need
as long
the-
as
we
possible.
Well, I can go on with food, and then I went to
No,
Don's
we're not
Hoagies,
going to
but
talk
anyway.
about food, Tad, because that is a very strange obsession you have.
We need the crickets.
Yeah,
The cricket sound effect.
The other thing I want to talk about is there's a guy who tools with me all the time, and I think he thinks that he bothers me. I think his name, God, what's his name? Steve something. I called him a nozzle.
You did call him a nozzle. It wasn't Steve though, wasn't it?
Isn't
Jeff
it Ryman or something? He's
Yeah.
from Australia.
Yeah. He's one of those, one of Aaron's crew.
Yeah.
You have to
So I
have
guess you
Aaron
got
smack
douchebags
him.
in Australia too. I
Of course
guess.
they do. They're everywhere.
Steve, man,
It's a
settle
worldwide
down,
thing.
you dick.
What was he getting on you about?
I don't know. I said I posted a dumbass picture of my home automation controller to show that their mapping of their logic was retarded.
Oh yeah, and he was saying, "Oh, you're polishing up the
Just-
excuses or some
yeah,
shit."
like that's oh yeah, and you're going to go 850. What? Listen, dickhead, I'd like to see you do half the shit I do. You
Yeah.
fucking moron.
Same.
And then he said something about polishing up on excuses when the phone system went bad. Look, I'm sorry, man. I updated my Sonic Wall firmware. Everything worked. I would have never thought to check the phone in the studio because I don't live here. I got another job.
Yeah.
I do other
And all
stuff.
the other phones worked.
And all the other phones work in the building.
And we're
So,
giving him way too much time right now.
yeah, I just thought it was funny. So, Aaron, if you see that guy, if he's close to you, just, give him the finger and
Or
kick him in the balls.
Pop him right in the throat.
Give him a pop. All right.
Or hand him a pop.
The last thing I want to talk about is the show that we didn't spend probably enough time recapping last time.
Yeah, we didn't.
Billy Godbolt from CompCams.
Yep.
I really enjoyed that show, and some of the things I know people said they listened like several times to pick up certain bits and pieces of information. I got to tell you, there's a lot of nuggets there. I even picked up a couple of things after listening through
Sure.
a few more times.
Yeah, me too.
And this is one of the shows that I did actually listen to, more than once for
Yep.
myself. So, like the one thing that I just, here I am being a dick again. I'm not trying to call anybody out on anything, but the one thing that I want to point out, I was talking to an engine builder, who's a very high profile or let's say accomplished engine builder, because I don't want to necessarily get him in the middle of this.
Do you want to name names?
No.
Okay.
No, if I did, I would, and more than anything, because I don't want to drag him into this nonsense world.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about it, and like one of the questions I asked Billy about the Spintron is like, did it ever lie to you? And he says, well, yeah, it tells us it doesn't lie to him, but it tells him something.
You're stupid because
didn't
you
expect.
thought something else was up.
Yeah, and the reason that I brought that question up is because somebody had a pro stock that they were working with.
Yep.
They found something. They said, "Oh, we fixed this. We're really in," and they fixed it, and
It went
it
bad.
hurt power.
Yeah.
But again, it's not that it told you something wrong. It was how you process the particular data you
Right.
got, or the gathering of the data itself is possible. But I think what the best thing you take away from that conversation with Billy is that the Spintron shows you something, but you still need to interpret what it's showing you. You
Yep.
have to figure out what needs to be done.
Well,
to
yeah,
take
you
the
definitely
action.
do, and it's all relative with regard to what you're looking at too. Depending on what situation. I mean, we both know about the situation with valve spring pressure. Guys were controlling what the valves were doing. They knew what it was doing, and if you added pressure to stop a phenomenon, you would
All of a
lose
sudden
power.
you lose power. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there were things that we used to do years ago that I don't know. I think we had actually talked about on the show once. We used to put the springs in, like very close or at coil bind.
Yeah.
And
A lot of them were at.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that what made a lot of difference in stability. And some people argued, well, it was because you brought pressure up, but no. I mean, we're not talking about, we weren't 150 away to begin with. We were like maybe 30 away.
Yep.
Or 40 away.
Yep.
And then we went like into or actual bind because but Billy said, you never realize your full lift anyway.
Right.
And that stabilized a lot of valve train stuff. As a matter of fact, that was a big improvement in our Superstock program when we started doing that.
Yep.
And believe it or not, springs lasted longer.
Yep.
Because they weren't in any trauma. But the reason I brought up the Spintron lying is I had made a statement that I thought that pretty much the fastest you can get like to 200, like if you could really lean on the camshaft, what it basically came down to is there, and I asked them, if you open a valve faster, is it ever detrimental?
Right.
If you're in control.
Right.
And I was really happy to hear the answer was no. Because if that was detrimental, speed, like should be cut back to be better, I wouldn't know. It would have turned most
Right.
of my world upside down.
Yeah.
Everything I learned about camshafts would have been out the window, and I just probably would have quit.
And it was just good to realize that common sense prevailed in one area.
Well, to me, it was a great conversation because it put a lot of the things that I knew happened and
Right.
gave me a little bit of a reason as to why.
Yeah.
So I think that episode was extremely valuable, and I think people should listen to it and try to take away the pieces of information. They're not, some of the information is not, everybody wants a flat out answer.
Yep.
That look, here's the answer. Like I know people wanted to know about a cam recommendation. It's not what this is for.
And it's not what he does. And
No.
he said that right from jump.
Nope.
Brilliant guy, but he's not the cam recommendation guy. He's the guy that makes the cams work from the engineering side.
And in fairness, when we talked about the flat tappet stuff, when all that started, one of the first things he said is, "Well, what are you using now that kind of puts you in like he used where we were
Right.
to figure out what we needed to do to make
Right.
it better."
Right.
And so that's like he didn't have to pick 8 cams. He gave me a couple different lobes, and then I told him separation and what we were going to use, and that's how we
Yeah.
ended up where we were.
Zeroed in.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm sure he could pick a cam out.
Of course.
I'm sure he could. I mean, the guy's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you're going to go, hey, I got a pro stock. Yeah, let's put this 224 hydraulic in there and see how it works.
yeah.
It's not how it's going to be.
Maybe advance it a little bit.
And the other thing that was particularly interesting was, and I kind of knew it, but I didn't know why, but the aerated oil in the lifter thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real
Yep.
thing for people to understand. That's, as to why some of this happens. And it all plays back into the one thing that everybody's looking for is valve train stability.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of real good information.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Me neither. I mean, I knew that there was spring.
Yeah.
But I never put it in terms of essentially that it's a little air bubble shock.
It's crazy how simple it is.
Yeah, it really is.
Because you worry about aeration everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But, and yeah.
Well, then it came down to the pump on the front of the camshaft, making that stabilizing the cam.
Well, yeah, that was just cool.
Yeah.
That was just straight up cool. Because I was going to ask about that. He was talking about sprint cars, and I was like, sprint cars, God, they gear drives, and who knows why? And then it all came full circle.
That was something like everybody said to me, like, are there things that like happen that remind you of your dad? And like when I heard that, I'm like, damn it, I'd love to tell him that.
Yeah.
Because that's just, and that's
Just cool shit.
very cool shit.
Yeah.
That like, if you told
There's no other way to describe it.
because
Just cool shit.
honestly,
Simple
like,
does it.
if we were involved with a sprint car guy, would be like, look, you idiot, get all stuff off the front of that fucking motor. And he'd do it and his shit would blow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every
And
time.
fingers would start pointing.
Yep.
That's, I would have never
But it
thought
goes
that.
back to the nylon gear and the super stock stuff. And,
Yep.
it just it all comes together. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's look, out of all, like everybody says, like, what episodes do you personally like? That's my top couple for sure.
Yeah. It's
For
got
sure.
It's got to be.
All right. So yeah, go listen to that one again if you haven't, if you didn't pick anything up from it. If you didn't learn anything from it, just stop listening. Because I think that was probably one of the best learning experiences we could give.
Well, everything I've been reading is people keep on listening and picking up off that episode.
Yeah.
Well, good. Good. That makes me feel good.
Apparently, I just saw something go by in the chat room saying Rich Mogul is a food guy also, which is not hard to believe because he's into every friggin' thing you could imagine.
What do you mean?
Somebody just said, "Hey, Tad, you want to talk about food? Talk to Rich Mogul."
There you go. You guys can kibitz amongst yourselves or whatever. Kibitzing,
No.
isn't it kibitzing?
It gets better. I joined one thing, the Pro Street Era on Facebook. The guys doing beautiful Pro Street cars.
Mm-hmm.
They did one. Some guys got huge tires that are hand grooved treads, so you can't tell what the tires are.
Mm-hmm.
But the tires are so wide, you couldn't fit a tire between the two tires. It's like one of those ones that's Pro Street beyond Pro Street.
Yeah, like a Vega would look if you put a 1733
Yeah,
tucked underneath.
exactly.
It was like that, but it was like a Camaro, and the thing's that big, and it's being held up. And I posted on my page, and Rich Mogel's like, "Oh, love that Harbor Freight jack." I was like, "I got one too." He's like, "Yeah, it's still working." So
Funny what
yeah.
car guys won't spend shit on, money on, isn't it? All right, hang on a minute here. This is a guy from Massachusetts. Might as well get this guy.
Hell yeah.
All right, buddy, you're on the air. Make it good because we're really lacking today for contact.
Yeah,
we
we
got to
are.
get out early.
We're failing.
Well, I just
Save the day.
I just wanted to call in and thank you guys a lot. I mean, especially when you guys started to talk about Drag Week stuff. Just like you guys, I'm going to be attending Drag Week this year,
And other than Bank Shift Forum, there's really not a lot of information about setting up a car and the traveling and all the other stuff that happens in between tracks. And when you guys started getting to Drag Week and getting all the guys talking about Drag Week, it's been just so much good information. I've been bombing you guys for the last about 2 months. I travel out for work, so I listen to your podcasts on airplanes and stuff.
Cool.
And I've finally managed to catch up to you guys, 116, 117 episodes in, and so many times I wanted to call in and say, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks, man.
We appreciate you. Yeah. What was if you remember, since you were, what do they call it? She was binge listening, right?
Binge list, I guess.
Yeah.
What was your favorite? Do you have one or many?
You know what?
I got to give the guy a quiz, dude.
When I'm really getting into tuning, a couple of the guys that called in about the tuning, like Scott Clark and EFI University, and stuff.
So you like the tuning stuff? Good.
Absolutely. I think a lot of guys don't know it. A lot of misinformation out there, and it's nice to get the guys that do this every single day and they're absolute pros to give you the small tips and tricks and stuff like that. Like, actually, what got me listening to you guys in the first place was on Sloppy Mechanics forum. Guys were talking about fuel injector timing, and one guy said, "You guys got to listen to this podcast. They really go into it," and that's what I did.
Cool.
Until then, I've only been listening to the Chief and Sean show, which is really good for getting all the background stuff on Street Outlaws and a lot of really, really hilarious conversations, but not a lot of technical data.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys out there want the technical data. They want the background information, A lot of guys like me, we go to a car show, we go somewhere else, I'm looking at the engine, I'm looking at how everything's done, I'm looking at the mechanical portions of it. I mean, I can appreciate the entire car, but I like the mechanical stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And the term that was always used to describe that to me, somebody said to me, they said, you weren't looking at that car, right? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I watched how you were looking at the car. He's like, you weren't looking, you were seeing. You were
engineering it.
Yeah, you were seeing how they did everything. Looking is, oh yeah, look at that. Seeing is trying to understand what, why, and how. And that's always a good part. I mean, look, I'd like to have even more tuners on and more tuner talk, but it's kind of tough for us because none of us three are tuners.
Yeah.
I mean, we can have tuners on and look, I know all the tuners can talk about, a variety of subjects, but you know what I keep going back to, you kind of lose if you got one of these tuners and they're talking about inlet air temperatures, offset tables, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like if you walked into a math class and you sat down and the guy's starting to go over trig, assuming that you understand the basics of trig,
right,
or math leading up to trig, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Well, I heard that word. All right, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take
I know what an
in.
angle is.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I know exactly where you guys are coming from. I do food packaging machinery and I do a lot of training, and I can see exactly looking at a guy's face when I go above his head.
Yeah.
That glazed look in their eyes.
Yeah. Nobody home.
Oh my God, I gotta dive a little bit. But I
he knows what it's like to sit across from Tad.
Exactly.
You know what? Actually, Tad's doing chicken processing, something like that.
No, that's fun.
No, Tad is a chicken processor. He eats chicken.
He processes a lot of food. No, that's
one thing at a time. One wing at a time, right?
Yeah. Fudd's actually since he left his Betty Crocker post, he is he works for a company that makes packaging machines. They put stuff in bottles and puts lids on.
Yeah, similar thing. We just do packaging for like meat and produce.
All right.
So if you ever buy ground beef in a tube or in a styrofoam tray with cellophane around it, that's our machines.
Ah,
that's what we do.
Okay.
But
so yours sounds more high tech than Fudd's.
Fudd's competition.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of PLC, programming logic control. There's a lot of the stuff is getting really, really, just like cars. It's getting really, really up there where you really need to know your stuff to be able to work on it. Back in the day, you used to get a hammer, and your toolbox was a bigger size of a hammer. That was what all the mechanics knew. Nowadays, for you to be a good mechanic and a technician, you really need to know how the whole system works.
Yep. Got to be a little more educated.
Yep.
Exactly.
All right, man.
Don't want to stay too long, but I do want to say thank you to Matt Happel from
Mhm.
Coffee Mechanics. He's a really great guy, and the reason that he has so many followers is because I'm sure you guys have come across this term, analysis paralysis.
Yep.
He tends to cut right through that because there's a lot of guys out there who want to do an LS swap, who want to do a turbocharging thing, but they don't know the basics of reading a compressor map, looking at the pounds per hours of flow to pick the right injector. And his, quote-unquote sloppy recipes really help guys to, to say, screw it, this is what I'm going to do.
Yep. I need this, this, and this.
Thing, and that's kind of what led me to it is I was looking at our swaps. I didn't know anything about them, and then I went to last year's drag week as just a guy to watch for a week. Me and my buddy every year try to do something more sports related. The year we did that MotoGP in Indianapolis, and then this last year was no MotoGP, so we did the drag week. And if you're ever on the fence about doing drag week, do not go because you will be absolutely hooked. I mean, absolutely hooked.
Yeah,
Honestly,
heard.
we've talked about this so many times. I can't believe that more people don't follow it because it just sounds like the coolest thing you could ever do.
It really
I mean,
does.
it really does. And I mean, honestly, and whether I got everything done or not, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
And look, I can take the abuse. You guys want to break my nuts? I don't give a shit. Fuck you. I'm fine.
You know what though? But just even if your car's not done or you don't have the backup plan, doesn't work out, just come out there. You're gonna meet so many great guys.
Oh, we're coming. Anyway.
Oh yeah,
we're coming.
We're going no matter what. It'd actually be more fun for you guys. We get there with nothing. You can pick on us every time you say us.
I want to see the Australian guys and stuff like that too, because you ain't got to see them otherwise.
I'm gonna beat somebody up.
Do you think so?
I know it.
I don't know if Alan's really going. Or not.
Not him.
And you know what? The other thing is you're going to be so pumped up to do it for the next year, because I ended up I had a black supercharged Fox body that I kind of thought about doing drag week, and I said, you know what? That's not going to happen. I'm going to sell that. I'm going to do something better. And on the way back from drag week, I'm from Canada. We have something called Kijiji. It's your Craigslist, but much better. Anyways, on the way back, I found a 89 Fox body roller. I said, perfect. Slopped. That's not a typo. Slopped in an L33, which is the all aluminum 5.3. Followed the recipe, 78, 75, 80-pound injectors. I'm sticking with T56. And
Oof, another brave guy.
yeah. But I'm only going to be running the 10.0 class because in Canada it's very hard to.
Whereabouts in Canada? Where exactly are you from up there?
Toronto.
Toronto.
Just north of Toronto.
Gotcha.
I'm going to Toronto end of September.
Yeah?
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I'm going to be up there. I got a show up there I got to do.
Okay.
So many things I could say about that. I'm just going to let that go.
Well, listen, it's not Montreal. We're not known for our strip bars. You can come check out the CN Tower in Niagara Falls. That's where everybody comes down.
I've been to Toronto a zillion times. I know what goes down there.
So have you run this thing yet or no?
Yeah, you know what? Unlike a lot of guys, it's not I started working on October. I put the engine in over the winter time, worked out all the details, and it was ready to go in April, and it's been to the track 2 times now.
Okay.
And it's not running the times that I want, but that's mostly from a suspension thing. I was having a really, you know how Fox bodies are, like they twist off the line and they hook right.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was like, oh, put an ARB in it. Put an anti-roll bar in it. It's going to save your life. It's going to be great. I put in the anti-roll bar in going the next time, and now it's hooking hard left. I mean, hard.
So it's too much.
I let off by 60 foot because I'm going to be taking out the 60-foot cone if I don't let off. But I took it to the chassis guy. We got it dialed in. I've been working on the other stuff. I mean, I travel for work, so it's kind of hard to work on it every single day. In fact, I'm in sunny Atlanta right now for work. But it ran a 1063 at about 132 miles an hour. And since then, it's picked up an additional 130 wheel horsepower at a dyno. So going to run the 10.0 class.
Cool.
Have a little bit more in reserve. But,
Well, I mean,
you won't be competing with me. I don't know.
well, that's a shock. everybody else is in exactly that class. But no, man, seriously, we appreciate you listening, and more than anything, we know that, usually end up hearing the stuff that people don't like. People don't ever, say thank you or you did a good job. But, it's nice. Thank you. We do appreciate that. We really do.
We do.
Fantastic. And definitely when we'll be out there, so for sure look us up. I'm sure that, we'll be findable. It shouldn't be tough.
Yeah.
Well, if
We'll
you
be
see
fine.
a white notchback pulling a battleship gray little Harbor Freight trailer,
Okay.
say hi. Give me the middle finger as you pass the guy broken down outside the road.
And what's your name again, man?
It's Fadon.
All right, man.
All right. Fantastic.
Yeah. The other thing, just a little helpful tip, why a lot of guys are not listening live.
Okay.
I don't know about them, but for me personally, I tried listening to you guys live, and I was at home, and it's very difficult to put an hour aside for you guys and just do that. Where this isn't like music where you can just play it in the background.
Yeah. I know you got to
listen.
The type
listen.
of stuff you guys do, it really is immersive. It really is knowledgeable, and you need to pay attention. And what I found is if I'm at home, I can't listen to you guys live because I'm constantly being interrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not worried about the live listener numbers
Nah.
at all. It's cool and it's fun, and we have a lot of regulars that are really cool. But we have a lot of downloads, and we know that's how it's designed, so not a problem.
And the main reason for doing the phone system and everything else was for exactly this.
Yeah.
It was not only to bring in a guest, but it was for exactly this, that people could call in and
See that we're
just-
real.
and just talk. And
Yep.
that's what we've always looked for. And I would encourage anybody that wants to call in, not tonight because we're gonna wrap up, but 908-751-0211.
Not
phone,
you again, Rich.
Yeah, not you again, Rich. The phone system comes on when we get in the studio. So if you call during, I actually checked. It doesn't take a voicemail, so there's no voicemail. But listen, feel free to call during the shows if we can get to your call. Like if we're not, don't call in the middle of interviewing Billy Godbold. That's kind of useless.
Yeah.
But if it sounds like there's an opportune time, or we say, hey, if anybody wants to call. Have at it.
Aaron's killing me.
What do you say?
No, he said I was just
as
about
part
to
of the
call.
whole, EFI source and the whole tuning and everything. Don't guys think that that's all we want to listen for? A lot of times it's you don't know what you don't know. We don't know. Like the whole cam thing was absolutely mind blowing. Listening to some type of stuff that who knew that there's so much information to know about a little bump stick,
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the turbochargers. Same thing with the the ETI guy was. I think I had to re-listen to that 3 times when it came to the transmissions.
Oh yeah, the transmission stuff and the torque converter stuff. Yeah, that was pretty deep. That was pretty good. He's a good man too.
When he's talking about locking up the torque converter halfway down the track and the G-forces go back up to what the G-forces were at the launch.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. That's like something you never thought about,
Yep.
But again, thanks guys.
All right. Well,
Thanks Matt, and thanks to everybody else. And you know what? You guys are like the best drag week coverage that I've managed to find. And listening to all the guys that've done drag week, talking about the things that you will never think about, in between the tracks and overcooling and all this sort of stuff.
well,
Absolutely amazing.
we're glad it worked out for you, and we really appreciate having you as a listener. So thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Thanks
But
for calling.
we'll see you out there for sure. Stop by, find us.
We'll look 'em up.
All right. So
All right, buddy.
do I get the thanks for calling?
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks for calling, man.
I'm gonna pull that out of Crunches, and I'll put that up here.
How's Crunch doing, by the way?
He's good. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with him, and I said, look, you should really come by. Just tell me when you can do it. Come in and let's sit here and have some fun. And he's my door is always welcome to that guy. He's welcome to come back in whenever he's got a spare moment.
He's got to get his mic back.
Yeah, I got to get his mic back from Alan. Alan's got his mic. And there's another thing. I'll get into that after we let you go. All right, but thanks, buddy. I'll see you, man.
All right. Have a
See
good
ya. Bye-bye. All right, 2 things. Alan says to me, I gave him the Sony headphones and a mic to do the testing with the Skype stuff. He says, by the way, I'm keeping the Sony mic, the Sony headphones. I was like, really? You're keeping how about I come over here and beat you with your own arm?
Yeah.
What the
Jag off.
People, like what this guy had said, that they like little tidbits of information. Like when you hear something that's...
Dude, our chat room is crazy right
Yeah.
now. It's hilarious. By the way, 70SS, yeah, you guys are cool. And I did say you're cool. Because you are cool. Our regular listeners are cool, although they're pounding that poor guy. Right?
Yeah, that's all right. Let him have some fun, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
good. It's not. Look, we didn't have shit to talk about today. Anyway, 'cause
I know.
you got to go.
So they bailed us out.
Yeah,
And
I'm gonna give one piece of information. I was talking to a guy, and again, unless the person ever says, sure, reference me. He was having a problem that making a drag pass partway down the pass. The oil pressure seems to fall away, and right after the end of the pass, everything's good, everything's fine, and that was something that I can tell you from experience. What we found is that was oil aeration.
Mhm.
And probably with a stock LS pan, that style of block, it's probably a little tough to control how the oil actually gets, de-aerated in the pan, like what anti-aeration stuff the pan could actually have. We always used, I'm a big fan of one-way screens. I know it seems like people went from trays, but we always had much better luck. And I can give you a very specific example. A guy had a circle track car that, and you don't see this as much on a dyno. Dyno pulls are short. So the guy's got a circle track car, a lap, like a solid lap, and the pressure would go from, say, 75 down to like 50. And, he never shut the thing off, but it was like at the very beginning of the race, and it wasn't oil temperature because it would happen like after a caution. It would come back up and then go right back down. All we did was change pan. That's it. Because it's just show you its aeration. Change the pan, problem disappeared, gone. And then we started to take notice on a dyno. If you did a longer pull and you start to see the oil pressure come back towards the end, you're not running out of oil. Mm-hmm. It's not pumping the oil to the top of the motor. Do you have any idea what that would look like if you did that?
Yeah,
I mean, you would be popping, every grommet out of the cover. It would be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't normally happen. I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't, but it normally doesn't. It's aeration. Mm-hmm. So all you guys, if you see things like that, my recommendation, pull 1 quart of oil out of the motor. Makes a big difference. You'd be surprised.
Yep.
And stop running 2050. Unless that's something I want to talk to some people about, because fuel cars, I mean, granted, they're contamination. They run heavy oil.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't know if these guys that are doing boosted stuff need these ridiculous oils they're using.
I don't know if they all use them.
A lot of people do.
Yeah,
I've read a lot.
Some do.
But that's something we're going to get into with an oil guy, which we also have probably under control.
Hope.
Real quick before we sign off or whatnot, I was reading on Engine Builder 101, a guy that works in a shop rebuilding cylinder heads, and because the guy was talking about sloppy mechanic, and he shocked me how many times he reused his head gaskets, which I never thought you were able to. Well, the guy had a set of Mercedes heads redone. He said when you put them on, you have to coat the head gaskets. The guy's like, okay. The guy screwed up. He screwed the cam bolt up to the point they said, okay, bring the head back, we'll fix it. The guy used liquid nails on his head gaskets to coat them. And then he goes, look at this. And he's showing the cylinder head freaking liquid nails all over, like pouring out and dry it on.
Listen, I know all kinds of dumb shit. The guy was trying. He figured he's looking at, he's doing the Home Depot thinking, the Home Depot engineering, where you walk up and down the aisle, say, I can do this. What do I need? And you pick stuff off the shelf.
And he picked liquid nails.
Listen, I had a guy that was spinning his bearings, swear to God, put the motor together, put green Loctite or red Loctite on the backside of the bearings to stop them from spinning.
Fix that.
I'm like,
fix them bearings.
So yeah, people do a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah, they do.
It isn't just Alan. A lot of
he does. He does his share though.
Yeah, he does. But I think he's actually going to Wisconsin tomorrow to do a little inspection of his vehicle, see where he's at. So we'll get that story when he comes back.
Cool.
All right. Well, we've got stuff lined up. Tom's going to go on vacation. I'm going to try to buy my mom a house, and I'm sure Tad's going to eat something. So
no doubt.
Of course.
See you next week.
See you guys.